What's up, everyone? And today I'm bringing a deck profile on my Earthbound. Now, Earthbound is a very interesting deck, as in the Earthbound Immortals are actually pretty interesting. Now, I will say the deck itself isn't all that great. I really wish I could say like this was a deck that you could take to a tournament and get a bunch of wins with, but everything has to go right with this deck, just because. Like with, for example, the Egyptian gods, getting the primary cards out is very hard. But without further ado, let's get right into it. First, I run the Earthbound Immortal Paku Apu. I think that's how it's pronounced. You can only control one Earthbound Immortal monster on the field, and if there is no face-up field spell on the field, destroy this card. All the Earthbound Immortals have that effect. I don't know why it's such a unnecessary restriction. To be honest, I wish it'd get like an Arad that just removed that effect, because that effect is not needed at all. Now, your opponent's monsters cannot target this card for attacks. This card can attack directly. And if this card destroys opponent's monster by battle, inflict damage to the opponent equal to the destroyed monster's original attack. So it does do a little battle damage, and this combined with another one of the cards actually works out pretty well. Also run the one Earthbound Immortal Roska. Now Roska is actually a card that for a while I ran in Flundries, because the when these monsters can actually summon pretty easy, can actually do some cool stuff, although with tier around, not really so much the case. So when this is summoned, you can return up to 3 cards you control to the deck, except this card, and then discard the same number of monsters from your opponent's hand at random. This card gains 1,000 attack for each card discarded by this effect. So let's say you attribute summon this for 3 monsters, you can just basically remove 3 cards from your opponent's hand, and that's really good. Like, let's say one of those happens to be a combo piece or an extender. That's just going to make your opponent's board much weaker. So this is definitely one of the cards I want to go into most, although Earthbound Immortal Uru is also pretty solid as well. Once per turn, you trigger one other monster. The target one face-up monster your opponent controls. Take control of that target until the end phase. So Roska is good going first, Uru is good going second, and the other is just good. Now, thankfully, there are ways to get it out. Like a 3 Ascator Dawnwalker. So you can discard 1 card, special summon this card from your hand. Then you can special summon 1 Fire Ant from your hand or deck. So basically, you can go into summon this, use the effect to summon the Fire Ant, and then you can just Synchro Summon. And with the field spell, you can actually use a Synchro monster as like the whole tribute for a Earthbound Immortal. And Ascator's effect of being able to discard a special summon this card is very important, because you're going to have to be saving your normal summon for the Earthbounds, because there's not really a way to special summon them from the hand, unfortunately. So if you have to normal summon, not using the Earthbound Immortals, you've almost already lost at that point. Thankfully, Ascator is not the only one. We also got 3 Supe Duskwalker, which is basically the same thing as Ascator instead of Fire Ant. It's just going into Supe, which, like the Fire Ant, is also a tuner. Also run the 1 Earthbound Greater Linewalker. Control a Synchro monster and have a Synchro monster in your graveyard. You can special summon this card from your hand, and during your main phase, you can add 1 Earthbound Immortal monster from your deck to your hand. If an Earthbound Immortal monster is normal summon while this monster is on the field, you can make your opponent's life points 3,000. So this combined with the Ascator and the Aru can basically almost be an OTK in a way. Now, the best way to get synchros to the field is through a Punk engine with the 2 Xiamen, or not 2, 3 Xiamen, 2 Foxytune, and the 1 Deer Note. Xiamen basically adds a Punk from deck to hand. Foxytune can discard itself and one other card to special summon a Punk from deck, which is usually going to be your Deer Note. And when Deer Note is sent to the graveyard, you can target 1 Punk monster in your graveyard except level 5, special summon it. Opening Xiamen is very, well, not really opening it, but having access to your Punk line is basically the best way to get at least some semblance of a board. Now, I also run 3 Ash, or not 3 Ash, 2 Ash, 2 Droll, and 3 Crow for my hand traps. Onto spells, I run 3 Earthbound Geoglyph. Geoglyph, while any level 10 monsters on the field now play can target this card with card effects, so it's got protection. Also cannot be destroyed by card effects, and you can treat 1 Synchro monster as 2 tributes for the tribute summon of an Earthbound Immortal monster. If a Synchro monster is special summoned, you can add 1 Earthbound Immortal spell trap from your deck to your hand. And that's pretty good, because it allows us to get into the ultimate Earthbound Immortal. Also run the 1 Terraforming. Now I also run 3 Dark Spirit's Mastery. Discard 1 card, add 1 Destiny board, or 1 level 8 female monster from your deck or graveyard to your hand. Basically, this searches out the Greater Linewalker. Also run 3 Pile of Prosperity, because you want to see 1 of your 3 copies of Emergency Teleport. If you don't have either 3 of the Emergency Teleport or 3 double summon, there's not really much you can do. Because in hands where I don't see either or, we're going to be very limited. Because with emergency teleport, that basically gets you into your punk line without having to use your normal summon on a Xiamen. Because if you use your normal summon as Xiamen, sure, he'll get you into a synchro, but you're not going to be able to summon your Earthbound Immortal. Unless you have double summon, which also helps with that. Now, some people are like, oh, double summon's a neg one. If you don't see emergency teleport and you don't have double summon, you can't really make a board at all. Like, it's just not going to function. And I also run 1 Monster Reborn. Moving on to the traps, in which I run only 1, and that is the 1 Ultimate Earthbound Immortal. If a normal summon or set Earthbound Immortal monster is on the field, you target one face-up monster field, destroy it. So it's a continuous pop, more or less. Moving on to the synchros. Now, while we can get locked into synchros pretty easy in this deck, I don't run only synchros, but the synchros I do run, I run the 1 Ultimate Tzolk'in. With that, you can basically go into your Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon. Also run a Stardust Charge Warrior for the Xiamen and Foxy Tune. Omega, Scarlet Red Dragon Archfiend, and the Geomathematic Magma for your 8s. Also run a Gem Dragon Drive and Yu-Gi-Oh! Amazing Dragon. These come up sometimes, but you know, they're just very solid cards to run, as well as a Cube A. Now for the links, we don't really go into links a whole lot, so like if you want to take them out for like other synchro monsters, you can, but there's not really a large pool of like good synchro monsters you can really use in this with this deck. That's unfortunate. Like other ones I was considering was Stardust Dragon. Yeah, I was considering Stardust Dragon in this deck. That tells a lot. So I run 3 Barricade Board Blocker, Masquerena, Unicorn, and Access Code to help close games out if I'm not locked into synchros. So that was my Earthbound Immortal deck. What do you think about Earthbound Immortal? Do you think it's a decent deck? I was about to say if you think it's a good deck, but in all reality, it's not. I wish it was, but it's not. Let me know in the comments and I'll see you in the next video I make. Bye.